is as a research scientist. I am a research assistant professor at the Colorado School of Mines. I've been there about 5 years. I have served as a judge for K through 12 science and engineering fairs at the local, regional, and state level. I've also served as a mentor for my own kiddos and other kiddos. And I have also been the chairperson for our science and engineering fair. And also I'm a lifelong student interested in learning how kids learn, and particularly science and technology. So I'm hoping that through this presentation that maybe some of the kiddos here who haven't taken on a science and engineering fair project, maybe inspire them to take on a project or maybe go a little bit further with their project than they would normally. And also I want to inspire the parents to get beyond that fear of becoming a mentor for their child. Okay, so I'm going to provide you with some information that will hopefully make that an easier process for you. So it's not easy. Okay, so my kiddos actually here at Leonin, right, and they just passed their survey. If you have time to fill them out, that's great. If not, no problem. And you can put them in the little Tupperware there. Will help me understand what was useful and what might be more useful. So there are, if you're new to science and engineering fairs, which I'm assuming most of you are. So how many kiddos here have done a science and engineering fair project? All right, well hopefully those, actually most of you. Wow, good job, that's awesome. How about how many parents took on a project when they were younger? All right, nice. So your parents know what they're doing. They've done projects. And even if they haven't done a project, I never did a science, we didn't have a science fair when I was a kid in high school. So I never got to do one. So even if you haven't done a science fair project, your parent hasn't done it, doesn't mean they can't help you with it, okay? We can. Get smart, okay? So I just want to talk a little bit about progression in the science and engineering fair process. Here at Free Horizon, we do have the opportunity to go to the Denver Regional Science and Engineering Fair. And the reason why I bring that up is because, and what's nice is the fair here, you use the International Science and Engineering Fair guidelines, paperwork. And this is really good because it makes it a lot easier if you want to go on to advance your science fair. So the International Science Fair is open to international high school students doing science fair projects. And there are over $5 million in awards that are associated with the International Science and Engineering Fair. So those who want to go on to college and do well, they're set. Okay? The reason I bring this up, I know that high school just seems like eons from now, but there is a Broadcom Masters. Masters is an acronym for Math Applied Science, Technology, Engineering, and Rising Stars. And this is open to 6th to 8th graders if they are selected from here. So it's basically using their science and engineering fair projects. They can go to the International Science Fair. Okay? So it's a select group of middle schoolers who get to go. Okay, so it's something that you may be interested in looking at. There's also a science talent search, and that is also just a national competition like the Broadcom Masters. It's just national, and that's only open to seniors in high school. So for those of you who are new to science and engineering fairs, I want to give you a little background and appreciation for this whole process, because it's amazing. So who's all heard of 21st century skills, buzzword? So how you're going to, what the 21st century skill set that is required to be successful in the 21st century workforce. Okay, there are the 4 C's: creativity, so creative thinking, collaboration, and communication. Okay, science fair. Okay, that's what's in the science fair. Another thing, when you start a science fair project, kiddos, What do you start with? An idea. Very good. And so that idea, how does that evolve? It evolves into a hypothesis and a question, right? A question is an inquiry. Inquiry-based learning. It's the new hot thing. It's happening, and you're seeing schools transition now into project-based learning, inquiry-based learning, science fair project. Okay, it's been around for decades. Was there a question back here?
Yeah, pretty much the very first thing you're going to do is figure out what you're even going to do.
Very good. That's sometimes the hardest part, is just getting started, because your ideas go wild. So for example, my son, he was in kindergarten. He wanted to know, how would you hear sound? You know, I'm a geophysicist. I know everything about sound, but how do you teach a kindergartner and help bring that into a question that they can take on? It's not easy, okay? So there's this whole modern learning component of a science fair project. It's the low-hanging fruit, and you're introducing your kids to STEM. And you can be a part of it, okay? It's pretty exciting. So, my animations on that didn't quite work out, but that's okay. So, at the elementary school age level, a lot of kids start out with projects that they've maybe seen before in science fair projects, like exploding volcanoes and drying up clay or growing bacteria in a petri dish. Those are all wonderful. There's nothing wrong with taking on a project that's considered a standard project. But each time you take on a science fair project, you add a little bit more of your own creativity and your own originality into your project. And as you progress through, it will naturally happen, okay? So I don't generally promote going to science buddies and looking up projects, but if that's what it takes to get the kiddos started, then that's what it takes. Just try to wean them off of it, okay? So this was just a bunch of different ideas for projects. All right, so this is actually just a picture, and most of my pictures are actually from the Society for Science and the public, and that's actually who the whole International Science and Engineering Fair WorldCom Masters program is hosted through this website. This is a picture of the winners of the International Science and Engineering Fair. So the whole point of the Science and Engineering Fair is not just to make scientists out of all of our kiddos. They're not all going to be scientists, and that is completely okay. Part of what they will get out of this, they don't become scientists, is they will know how to listen to the news, and listen to statistics on the news, and listen about research and make well-informed decisions, okay? And that's just as valuable. So the mentor-mentee relationship is really not an easy one. I'm a scientist, but even I was intimidated at the thought of taking my kid through a science fair project, because you don't really know what the dynamic's going to be like. It can be like teaching your kids how to ski or play a sport. Where you don't know if your dynamics quite work, right? I mean, it can be a frustrating process for both, but if you can get it, it is extremely rewarding. So the number one tip I can give to you is, even if you're not a scientist, you can do it, okay? Put aside your own, make sure you recognize your own goals for your child and separate that from their goals, okay? The goal for them is to learn. If they fail, if you know how to get from point A to B and it seems simple, and they want to do something different, let them stumble. It's okay. They'll learn by failing, okay? We had a project where the student was so incredibly informed with her procedure, and everything just made sense, but she really didn't get good results. Her data wasn't very good. She still advanced to the regional science fair because she was passionate about it. It was 100% her project. She had full ownership of that project, and she knew it inside out, okay? That's what you're after. If they fail, you know, hopefully you have a judge who's going to respect that, okay? So you have to make the shift from parent to mentor, and there really is a subtle shift that maybe is not so easy. Well, you kiddos have to respect that your parents as teachers too, okay? They might not teach like your teachers in the classroom, but they still can teach you. So you have to respect that they know some things, okay? I experience this with my kids all the time. They don't think I know basic math, and it's just that sometimes kids don't see your parents that way, okay? So you have to respect your parents and trust that they're going to help lead you in the right direction, okay? All right, 2 minutes to fly through. So first step is go to the Science and Engineering Fair website for Free Horizon. They have all the guidelines there. If you have a 6th through 8th grader, take seriously reviewing the international guidelines and forms that have, because there are certain things that need to be filled out before you start research. Okay, the process is coming up with an experimental question, do some background research, formulate a hypothesis, plan your experiment, test, analyze. You get bad results, go do that again, okay? So you might have to go through this a few times. So you might not get it right the first time, and if you don't, you're going to learn a lot more from your project, okay? But if you do get it right, it's good to repeat your experiment just at least one more time to validate the results, draw your conclusions, and design your display. And I'm not going to go through designing a display. There's plenty of information out there. I have a checklist here that I can't really go through, but so I'm going to go through quickly. Follow the rules. Make sure it's your child's work, okay? It's genuinely their interest. Make sure there's creativity to it. Make sure they don't accidentally plagiarize. Make sure they reference all sources of information. And you should be able to walk yourself through the project in 15 minutes without their help, okay? Judges often will ask, the 3 big questions that judges will often ask is, what did you learn? Did you have fun? And what would you do differently? Okay? So to really learn, fail, then fail again. Okay? And that's okay. Each year, if you fail one year, you just try again next year, and you're going to get better each time. If you have time to fill out the survey, that's great. If not, I completely understand. And thank you.